everyone. My name is Regan. I'm a BCBA at Artemis ABA, and I'm joined by Shridhevi, who's a BCBA with us as well. It's nice to meet you if we haven't met you already. We're excited to show you an overview of some of the new clinical features that we have in Artemis. And then if you have any questions, you can put them in the bottom. There's a Q&A chat section. If you put them in there at the end of the kind of what we're showing you, we can answer any questions towards the end. And then today we're going to be reviewing the VB-MAPP, adding files and data collections, the clinical trial count reports, trend lines, collecting data without appointments, and then custom form builder. So I will go ahead and get started. All right, so this is the client intervention plan. You may be familiar. This is where all the programming is, where the BCBAs will spend most of your time. In the assessment tool section, we have a new VB-MAPP integration that you can access. So if your practice and if you at your practice have access to the VB-MAPP, this is kind of an additional add-on feature, then you will just click the sign in button and it'll automatically sign you into the VB-MAPP for this client. And this one, you can access anything on the VB-MAPP app. And so this is the different assessment tools. So the milestone, barriers, transitions assessment. You can assess your client and score them here. And you can go through the different verbal operants as well so that you can score the different sections. And then you can access video guides, add any knowns or notes, and then also access guides, which will kind of give you objective and materials and things like that. So the score grids down below will automatically generate based off how you filled out the VB-MAPP assessment. And so after you fill this out, it'll automatically fill out that score grid, which you could then embed into a treatment plan with a learner or kind of attach it to that document. And then the IEP report down below, it generates a form or like a Word document that has summarized skills and barriers for your client, as well as information across all the assessment tools, and then recommended IEP goals. And then additionally, this is our clinic notes and reference files section. So you can access this in your client intervention plan. And in the additional info tab, you have access to the clinic notes or the reference files. The clinic notes are any text, images, or links that you can add in, and this will show up in data collections so that RBTs can access this information at any time. For instance, I have a client fact sheet, bathroom schedule, a room schedule, and other things you might want to add here are common reinforcers, protocol or programming reminders and updates, and then any visual aids or links. And so this is an example of what that would look like here. So I write all this information out and then it's accessible in data collections as well, which I'll show you. And then the reference files are similarly, you can add files, so like longer documents, downloadable stimuli. For instance, I have tacting cards that I've added, and then IEP documents as well. So things like that you can add in as reference files, and they will be downloadable in data collections for RBTs to access during a session with this client. And so this is where the RBTs can access this. So I'm in a data collection session for that same client. I can go into the session menu and then the clinic notes will be here and I can click into it and access all that information here. And then the reference files will be here and you can download these documents onto the device that you're using for data collections. And then additionally, we have some reports, clinical reports. So you can access these in the client intervention plan. So we have two options here. So we have trial count by client and trial count by provider. So if you access these reports through the client intervention plan itself, then it will automatically be filtered for this client. So that's helpful for supervision and program modification sessions. So this is an example. I'll show you the trial count by client first. So this is a list of my clients' targets that the RBTs are taking data on. And then it's showing me the trial count for each of these targets. So this is helpful for kind of making sure we're hitting our goals for how many trials we want to hit. And all of that, making sure none of these targets are getting missed or lagging behind in progress just because the trial counts aren't being hit. And so you can see all of my targets on the left-hand side, and then the trial count here as well. So if you click onto any of these, it filters the data down below. So it's a really good view. I can see the response now, who took it, what date it was, and all of that. And then by default, this will filter by the last week of data, but I can also go in and choose to see the for this month, for today, I can choose to see for a specific provider. All of those can be added in the filter section here, so that's really helpful for a supervision session. And then additionally, the trial count by provider report. This is the same client. So the providers who work with this client, who have taken data for this client, are on the left-hand side. And then I can see the relevant trial counts per provider. And so I could go in here and see it, filter it per week if I wanted, or anything else. And then I could also click into it and see what specific data was collected for this client by this provider as well. So that can give me some more information related to if I have any supervision goals related to hitting trial counts or things like that. This can be a helpful report for that. And then now I will share, I'll let Shridhevi share the screen and kind of tell us some more information related to trend lines, collecting data without an appointment, and then also the custom form builder.
Thanks, Regan. I will share my screen. Okay, so a new feature in Artemis is that we can add trend lines to graphs, and the trend lines automatically gets pulled into the graphs like you can see here. So you can do it for behavior reduction goals. You can do it for skill acquisition goals as well. These are all my behavior reduction. These are skill acquisition, and you can see the trend line, which gives you a visual analysis of the progress the client is making. Another cool feature is it does come in by default, but if you don't want to see the trend lines, you can toggle it on and off here, or if you just want to see the trend lines, you can see it here as well, like that. So that's a nice feature that's been added. The second piece that we're going to talk about is the collecting data. So collecting data is a really unique feature in Artemis. So because it's not tied to any appointments or schedules, it's more for probing data by the BCBA. So if there's like data that's backtracked from baseline, you can add it in here. Or if you just want to, ensure that your clients actually truly master the target, or is it regression, or stalled targets, you could just go in and probe and see where the client is at. So what we can do here is you just have to go in and pick the targets that you want, and you can click it. For example, I want to do this and this, and then I can just add it here. Another nice feature is for the collect data is it's very helpful when you do like the caregiver goal trainings, and you have paper data that parents are taking for their kid at home, the goals that they're hitting. You can then transfer that data here and add that into your collect data section, and it will populate as a graph. Just to keep in mind that when you are designing the program, typically the programs that show up here, the RBTs can see. So you want to make sure that when you're creating a program that you don't want the RBTs to see, but you want to take data on, you just have to make sure that you check the inactive button. Let me show you, for example. So I just say caregiver goal 2. You click it. Say you want to do, I don't know, communicate mans, and then maybe I'm just going to write a very quick thing. Two-way exchange and 80%. We just have to make sure when we click it in the targets, we have to check the active status here. So okay, and then 3 days, 80%. So where it says active, you just have to make sure it's inactive, and then it does not show up on the screen. For the RBTs, it's kind of hidden for the RBTs. You don't see it anymore here, but if you go to the collect data section and you want to add, uncheck the inactive, load all targets, and then you can see the caregiver goals up here. So you can collect data, and then that will show up in your graph from your end. So that's a nice feature to have for the collect data piece. And then the next feature that we have is the form builder, the custom form builder, which is a really, really nice feature here. As you know, Artemis has its own default templates that is already pre-built here, but as we know, like every client, every practice has its unique needs of building a treatment plan and based on insurance requirements itself. So we have this new form builder template option. So there are different ways to do it. One is you could, if you like the existing forms that Artemis offers and you just want to tweak it a little bit, you can just go in here and then you can edit the existing template. So you can add, there are like 4 basic fields on the left. Basic fields are basically everything that you want to add, like the text boxes, drop downs, how you want to format your template. Everything that has the green checkbox with the ticks on it just says that the information that you add in here, it's kind of tagged into your client. So whatever is you put in the client 360 module, the graphs, it all gets pulled into the template form. So like I said, you could add fields to the existing form. You could add sections. So I can just say, for example, I just want to put this here. I can just drag and drop it here. So it says 2 columns. You can make it like 2 columns. You can make it a single column. So there are different ways to manipulate these forms. So this is something, if you like the forms in Artemis, you can just tweak it, or you could go into, let me see here, save and close. Okay. So this is something you can create from scratch as well. You can change the headings in here. So this could be based on insurances. You could create your own templates. Again, there are all these drop-down options that you could use to add on to this form here. I will show you one that I created from scratch here. So I did this for TRICARE, TRICARE in Texas. So this is a form that's created from scratch for TRICARE. So I have all the templates here, all the sections that I wanted to put in here. Another nice feature here is, like, for example, you want to reorder the sections. You can just click on the header here, and then you can just say, you can move stuff around. Say I want to move this back here, I can just pull it up there and then click save. So a really nice tool to customize your treatment plans. And I think that's about it, Regan. Do we have anything else to share, or did we miss anything?
I think that's it. I think on this section, the additional thing is that once you can go ahead and manipulate these and edit as needed, and then once you want to make it available for your BCBAs to start using, that's when
Yes.
you will change it from draft to active, and then that's
Yes, and I can
when
show that.
it'll
Yeah.
show up. Yeah, and that's when it'll
Yeah.
show up in the CIP section so that BCBAs can start using it.
Yes. So for example, this one, thank you for bringing that up, Regan.
Mhm.
So for this one, you can go into edit details when it's done, and then you have a drop down here, and then you could select if it's active or or a draft. And then if it's active, it pops up in the your CIP for the kiddo, and then you click it here and it shows up here. So ready to use. So I think we're kind of done. I know we've been scheduled for an hour, but we would love to take any questions. So please feel free to ask your questions in the chat box, or anything else you have questions or concerns about, and we can answer that since we have some time.
Shridhevi, we have one question of how do you access the form builder?
For now, and I think Regan can help me with that, it is in the setup section, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, go here. I think I have to go, okay, to go out. This. I'm going to log in again because I did the.
Yeah, Shridhevi will show you that, or I can share my screen
Yes,
too.
hold on.
But yeah, it's in the setup modules where you kind of build out and create the form. So Shridhevi, do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, if you can, because I have to log back in to Artemis
Okay.
for that. Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
Sorry, everyone. We're not Zoom experts here. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen. So in the setup
Yes,
module,
yeah.
there is a tab on the top that says Form Builder. And so this is where you access the ability to like edit, create those templates. And so it looks a little bit different. We have a lot in this system here, but this is where you can like change the status of them, build them all out. And then I see the other question is how to edit a form slightly. So that's a good question as well. So if you build out a form that you really like and you want to edit it for a specific payer, you have the option using the three dots to clone a template, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
make those additional edits to that clone, and you can just save an additional copy. Maybe you have one saved as a Medicaid template, one as a TRICARE template, with those slight modifications to meet the payer requirements. So yeah, that's a good question. Another question. Can we
It's about
create
intake
intake
forms. So.
forms, session notes, or other custom forms and categorize it? So that is, so currently what we have in the system right now is creating the assessment templates, or the treatment plan forms. And then coming up soon, in the next couple of weeks, we will have the ability to make session note templates. And so when you are creating a new form, that's when you would select a different category. So assessment would be the treatment plan, intake would kind of be all the other types of forms, and then session would be session note form. So we're going to kind of build out the ability to create session note templates specifically so that you can assign it per payer, per CPT code, location, things like that. So that is coming in the next couple of weeks. And then following that, we're also building out the ability to make like other types of forms, for instance, intake forms, incident reports, things like that, which will be housed in a different section in Artemis. So currently we have the assessment templates that go into that CIP in the treatment plan section, but those other types of forms are being worked on and kind of our product roadmap.
Yes, I think, yeah, the next is like, will the recordings be available? Yes. And after this meeting is over, you'll be sending a copy of the recording as well of the webinar.
Can I view the VB-MAPP reports in Artemis? Let me go to the VB-MAPP. Okay, this question is about viewing the VB-MAPP reports in Artemis. I assume that is the score grid. So this is, sorry, my um, technology stuff earlier, but yeah, this is the score grid. This is what it looks like. So it automatically fills in based off how you score the client in the different sections, when you're actually like where you can access the guide and the materials related to it. You input the score, and I can show you how you do that as well. But this is kind of the output that comes out of that, which you can then download as a PDF, or you can kind of insert this snippet into your treatment plan itself. Um, and so, and then I did want to show this is like where you would actually score it, and there's videos here, and then when you score, you click on it, and it gives you a description of how you should score each one. And then you can also access the guide and all of these things. And then the full VB-MAPP guide is also available through here as well. So just as an example, you can access the whole thing through the VB-MAPP app itself within Artemis.
And I think the other piece is that all the goals are also added, correct, Regan? For the VB-MAPP, once you have access to VB-MAPP, you'll have access to the goals that have been created for level 1, level 2, and level 3, and you could just pull that in and modify it for your client's needs as well, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do have that option to when you have the goal bank for your practice, you could have the practice like your specific goal bank that you've built out for your practice, or we can also we've built out a VB-MAPP specific goal bank as well, that we can add so that when you're using the VB-MAPP assessment, you can go ahead and just figure out what goals you want to add and then add from goal bank, and those VB-MAPP specific goals will be there as an option to use.
So Lokesh has asked if we can create assessment templates and move them to specific folders instead of keeping them everything in the same page.
Um, we'll have to check on that. I know at least kind of piggybacking on what we were talking about earlier is that the assessment templates would all be in that client intervention plan area where you are the BCBA, you're creating the assessment report for your client. So like that's where the assessment templates would go. I believe the session notes would be where you would normally add a session note, and then the intake forms and things like that, I believe, are going to be housed in the Client 360
Client
documents.
360.
Yeah. And then we will check on the kind of organizing it in the actual form builder page, because that's a good idea as well.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions before we go?
And just, Regan, all the clients should have access to most of the features that we showed today, correct? And it's just the form builder. If they don't, they can reach out to the team, and we can remove the flag, I guess. And I guess if you're interested in VB-MAPP, the add-on, they could reach out to the sales team at Artemis, and they can help you more with everything regarding VB-MAPP as well.
Yep. For anything, if you have any additional questions after this, reach
Yeah.
out to, if you have our contact information, you can reach out to us, but also customer support ticket at artemisaba.com. If you send any questions there, we can guide you to the right person, whether it's the add-on of the VB-MAPP, we can guide you to the salesperson, or if you have any questions about any of these features or how to do anything, we'd be happy to answer you there too.
Is there a cost associated with VB-MAPP? Yes, there is a cost associated with VB-MAPP, and I think, again, that's something the customer service team can help you with regarding the actual cost and what that looks like as well. Right, Regan? I think we're good. Thank you so much for attending. And like Regan said, please do reach out if you have any more questions or concerns, and we can help you with that.
Yes, thank you all.